Welcome back. It is time now for us to enter into the last session, the Sahasrara Chakra. The Sahasrara Chakra is located on the crown of the head. In Sanskrit, Sahasrara means 1,000-petaled, from the mystical experience of a 1,000-petal lotus blooming on the crown when this chakra is activated. This chakra is closed by discontentment and the attitude of taking life for granted. This chakra can be opened by overflowing gratitude and contentment. A man prays to God every day. "Oh God, I don't have enough money. Please help me to win a big lottery worth at least 10 million rupees. And if I win, I promise you, I will offer you 20% of my winnings at your shrine. If you don't believe me, please deduct 2 million for yourself and give me only the remaining 8 million. All our dealings with God or existence is exactly like this, a mere business. It may not be so obvious in our lives, but if you deeply analyze your attitude of prayer, you'll understand that you are all the time having a business deal with everyone, including God. One day a poor man went to Emperor Akbar's palace. He wanted to request Akbar to give him some money for his son's studies. Akbar, as you know, was famous for not turning away anyone who asked for help. When the man reached the palace, he saw that Akbar was offering his prayers to God. So he waited with the others outside the prayer hall. When Akbar came out, everybody made their requests and received help from him. Only the poor man turned away without asking for anything. But Akbar spotted him and called him back. He asked him, "Why are you leaving without asking for anything?" The man replied, "Your Majesty, I came to ask you for alms, but saw that you yourself were begging." If you observe our prayers, you'll realize that all of us are actually beggars. We simply ask and ask and ask. Our prayer is nothing but a begging bowl. We beg for material things, smooth relationships, for power, for achieving our goals, for physical beauty and what not. We are all the time asking for something or the other continuously in our minds. In fact, we are so much in tune with asking that it has become an unconscious process within ourselves, and we might not even accept that we are asking. We might argue that we are not asking because we don't see it as asking. We see it as a natural way of life. We have become involved in it and therefore unable to distance ourselves from it and see it with a fresh mind. Understand, there are only two kinds of religion in the world: religions based on prayer and religions based on gratitude. The religion of prayer is all about asking God for something or the other. It can be followed by the masses because it is very much in tune with our asking attitude. It is in tune with the conditionings that have gone inside us from a young age. Asking is the prayer that we have been taught from when we were children. It seems like the most natural way to approach God or existence. On the other hand, the religion of gratitude is based on just an overwhelming gratitude from within towards God or existence. It is quite contrary to what is taught to us from childhood. We've been always taught to thank for what has been received, that's all. We've been taught gratitude as a social etiquette, nothing more than that. How then can we be thankful all the time? It becomes too much. That is why these religions of gratitude are followed only by a select few. Only a few meditative religions like Buddhism or Sufism are based on gratitude. These religions have very few followers, but the quality of the followers is high. You see, there is nothing wrong with prayer, But getting stuck in the act of asking while praying is where the trouble starts. Prayer should be used as a jumping board to enter into meditation. A meditation where gratitude becomes prayer and your being becomes bliss. You might think, giving your gratitude can be a social habit. How can it be a meditation? But you will understand what I mean when you actually start giving your gratitude. When you start giving your gratitude, you will understand the value of your life. I tell you, you are only aware of the people who are directly responsible for providing and caring for you. But during all these times and thousands of other times that you are not even aware of, you are helped, protected and cared for by existence, by the cosmos, by the universal energy. But you always think that whatever was given to you was either because you deserved it or because it was an accident. When you start seeing and feeling the invisible hand of existence taking care of you every moment, you will understand that you are wanted here by existence. Only then you will understand that you are being showered upon continuously by existence. The fact that you are alive is enough to show that existence wants you here and cares for you. It is only when you don't understand this, you feel dull and depressed and keep asking as if you are the most deprived person in the world. If you listen from your being to what is being said here, you'll be able to tune yourself and become sensitive to the wonderful giving ways of existence. Most of us pray with fear to God. You can see mothers telling their children that if they don't do certain things, God will get angry with them. These statements take root in the child at a very young age and give them a wrong concept of God. All these are the conditionings that you give to your child at an early age. When they grow up, they face serious dilemmas because of this. Instead of embracing existence with love and gratitude, they stand apart from it with respect and fear. Religion, if followed out of fear, will not take you anywhere. It will not pave the way for a transformation to happen in you. You might progress materially by the faith that you have in your asking, but you will remain where you are at the being level. The purpose or real fulfillment of life can never happen in the material path. It can happen only at the being level. People who undergo what is called depression of success will be able to relate to what I am saying in a better way. We have discussed a lot about depression of success in the earlier sessions. Religion has to be followed out of deep love and gratitude for the divine or existence. Although society teaches you to worship God in the name of fear, I tell you, never do it. Always pray with love and gratitude towards the divine. A small story. A Sufi master, Junaid, used to pay his gratitude to God 5 times a day. At one time, he and his followers were wandering through some villages where Sufism was not accepted as a religion. In the first village, people accused them of begging and threw meager alms at them. The next day, the people refused to give them any alms. On the third day, the village they passed through was so hostile that the villagers drove them out with sticks and stones. But that night, as usual, Junaid knelt down and offered his gratitude to God. His disciples were watching him. It was too much for them. They could not understand why Junaid was thanking God. They were furious. They cried out, "Master, for 3 days we have gone without food. Today we were even driven out of that village like dogs. Is this what you are offering your gratitude for?" Junaid looked at them and said, "You talk about 3 days of hunger. Have you thanked God for the food you have received for 30 years? And know one thing, my gratitude is not for receiving or not receiving anything. It is simply an expression of the deep joy and love in my being. It is a choiceless and prayerful expression, that's all. When you live with overwhelming gratitude in you, you have found a space wherein nothing else is needed. It means that you have fallen into meditation. Then you will not worry about anything else. You are on the right track. Your mind is no longer a hindrance to your growth. Your mind has disappeared. The mind cannot step in because you are brimming from your heart. There is no space for your mind. And when there is no space for your mind, where will discontent come from? Discontentment cannot come from the heart. It is purely a product of the mind. Your mind always stands between you and existence. It prevents you from hearing, seeing, feeling and emoting with existence. Once you go beyond your mind and see the beauty of existence, gratitude will become your prayer and bliss your being. You will then enjoy liberation and permanent joy. And when you drop the mundane logic of your mind, you will flow like a river, choicelessly, effortlessly, joyfully with the flow of the current. You will then play your role and enjoy every moment of it. You will then understand that you are part of a wonderful drama, wherein the more sensitive you are to the conductor, the more effectively you can play and enjoy your part. When you go against the current, you need to put in effort and exercise choices. But when you go with the current, you don't need to make any effort at all. You will not feel tired. You will not feel frustrated. You will only feel a flowing lightness and joy. Everything will then appear beautiful to you. A small story. Nitya Kanti was on a cross-country rail. She spent all her time in the observation car, watching the passing scenery outside. An elderly lady was seated next to her, and Kanti told her that the best part of the journey was the breathtaking scenery outside. The lady shook her head, sat for a while looking out of the window and left. A little later, the lady came back, sat for a short while looking out of the window, then got up and went. After some time she came back again, and this time she sat behind Kanti. After a few minutes went by, she tapped her on her back and asked, "Excuse me, but do you see something that I don't?" We all miss the beauty of existence when we don't know how to resonate with it. We are all the time looking for reasons to enjoy, reasons to celebrate, questioning what we enjoy and what not. We have lost our connection with existence altogether because of this. Instead of feeling gratitude towards everything around us, we are asking and questioning all the time. We need to get back this connection with existence again, and gratitude can help bring back this lost connection. It can help you to find your roots once again. It can help you to commune with nature, with existence. A small story. A man prayed very hard in a temple one day. "Oh Lord, please give me 1,000 rupees for 15 days. I'm very desperate to receive it. I will return the money to you on the 16th day from today when I get my first paycheck." The temple priest was listening to his prayers. He felt very sorry to see him in that state, and he had 500 rupees with him. He put it in a cover and he gave it to the man, saying that God had asked him to give him the money. The man was overjoyed. He took the cover home and opened it. He counted the money and saw that there was only 500 rupees and not 1,000 rupees. The next day he went to the temple and prayed to God. "God, next time please don't send the money through the priest. Send it directly to me. because the priest took half of it. We take everything for granted and therefore remain discontented. Remember, life itself is a gift to you. Have you worked hard to get it? Can any of you say that you have worked very hard to earn this life? No. That is why we don't realize its value. We simply take everything for granted. Our bodies, our daily food, the beauty of nature. Everything is taken for granted. We ask God for gold rings, diamond rings. But do we thank Him for giving us fingers to wear them? With time, even the diamond ring will lose its value to us. One day, the geography teacher in a school asked her students to write down the 7 wonders of the world. All the kids listed the great wonders, the Great Wall of China, the pyramids, the Eiffel Tower, and so on. One child was writing, and she kept writing, shaking her head and continuing to write. The teacher came to her and asked, "What happened? You forgot what you learned?" The little girl said, "No, I'm a bit confused. There are many more than 7 wonders of the world." The teacher was surprised and took her sheet and read it. She then read it out aloud for the class to hear. The 7 wonders of the world are: I can see, I can touch, I can smell, I can hear, I can taste, I can laugh, I can love. The class was suddenly filled with a penetrating silence. These small things are forgotten because we think that they are small. Everything becomes small to us when it is easily available. There are so many millions of people in this world who can't see, who can't hear, who can't talk or taste. We never think of all these things. We are always thinking of what more, what better, what next. That's all. A small story. Sheikh Govinda was traveling on the highway to get to his village. After just 1 hour of travel, his car jerked and stopped. He was panic-stricken and saw that he had run out of fuel. He walked a few kilometers, praying and sweating and panting, and finally came to a town. He spotted a gas station and explained that he was penniless but badly needed fuel to get to his village. They just turned him away. He then spotted another station on the opposite side of the road and walked to it and explained his situation. The manager of the bunk took pity on him and agreed to fill in a few liters free of cost. Then Govinda asked, "Can you give me the money instead? The station across the road is cheaper." Until something comes to us, it seems very precious and we remain in a prayerful mood. The moment it comes, it loses its value and we move on to another prayer. We always live with a what next attitude. We are unable to relate to gratitude because of this. For example, if we go to a shop and see a new type of alarm clock, maybe with some new features, immediately we feel that our life will be much better with those new features. We will feel that the whole quality of our life will change if those new features become available to us. We will feel that we will become a lot more efficient with this clock in our lives. And so we buy it and we take it home. After a few days, what happens? We won't even have the time to wipe the precious clock. The poor clock will be lying somewhere covered with dust, and you will even get scolded for buying it and cluttering the house with one more item. And you would have also moved to some other gadget, some other desire. Is it not? We always feel that something that we don't have is as big as a mountain, without which we cannot survive. But when we actually get it, somehow it becomes too small a thing. This is how we miss the wonderful attitude of gratitude in our lives. We keep running behind what next, what next. Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi tells God, "I am so very intelligent, I gave you all that I had, all my life full of suffering, and you in your compassion gave me in return your presence of bliss. Bhagavan tells God that he is more intelligent than God himself because of this intelligent exchange. Such is his adorable sense of gratitude towards existence. It simply hits you when you read it. Another small story from the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. It is said that whenever Ramakrishna saw someone from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's place, he would fall at his or her feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a great enlightened master from India. People asked him why he fell at ordinary mortals' feet. He would say, whether they are ordinary or extraordinary, it does not matter. They are from Bani Ghati, where Chaitanya did an important Sankirtan. The moment I hear that they are from there, the very name creates memories of Chaitanya in me, and that is enough. I pay my gratitude to them by falling at their feet for having brought Chaitanya to my mind. If I had not met them in those moments, I might have been thinking of something else unworthy. They are therefore instruments through whom divine memories and ideas are kindled in me. That was Ramakrishna's reply. For bringing thoughts about Chaitanya to him, Ramakrishna fell at their feet. Can we ever imagine this today? This is what I mean when I say everything and everyone should be looked upon with gratitude for whatever they are doing. They are all part of existence, and they are all moving in some synchronicity orchestrated by existence. When you are sensitive to this happening, you will be able to feel gratitude for the way things are happening. We need to imbibe this sense of gratitude from great masters. This is the only thing we need to imbibe from them. The rest will be taken care of automatically. Because when you imbibe this, the power of coincidence will make things happen for you, and existence will simply shower upon you. Just understand, desire and gratitude can never coexist. When you feel one desire after another, it means that you are not living with gratitude. When you live with gratitude, you can never have any desires. When you live with gratitude, whatever is given to you will simply fulfill whatever you need at that moment. Even before you ask, you will be given. So there will be no question of asking at all. Things are always perfect when you function with gratitude. Else, things are always lacking and ugly. Man's greed is such that even if he is made king of the earth, he will think, the seas don't obey me, the sun and the stars don't obey my commands. In the Shiva Purana, there is a story of Shiva and the Brahma Kapala. The Brahma Kapala was a skull that Shiva used as a begging bowl when he was wandering in the guise of a mendicant. The strange thing about the Brahma Kapala was that whatever alms people put into it, it would promptly swallow. No matter how hard Shiva would try to fill it, it would remain empty. This Brahma Kapala is actually inside all of us. It is nothing but our own ego. The ego that swallows everything and asks for more. The ego that prevents us from enjoying what is being showered upon us. Whether you want to base your life on asking or on gratitude is entirely up to you. Gratitude is not some kind of morality that can be imposed on you from outside. It is an attitude. It is an attitude that has to flower from within, out of a deep understanding of existence and its ways. When real gratitude happens, it can transform your whole perception of life and bring lasting peace and joy for you. Once a man went to Ramana Maharishi and said, Bhagavan, I want peace. Ramana replied, from your own statement, just remove the word I and remove the word want, and what remains is peace. The only way to live a live connection with reality, with existence, is by dropping your conditionings, your ego, and breaking the wall you have built around yourself. Then you will be able to see that the connection was always there. You don't have to do anything special. You simply have to drop what is not, that's all. When you are loving and flowing and filled with gratitude, you will always feel the tremendous energy of existence flowing through you. And you will always be with a sense of fulfillment, not because of any gains, but because it has become your very being. This fulfillment is the ultimate fulfillment that every man is seeking, although he is not aware of it. He searches for it again and again in all the material things and keeps missing it. Whether you accept it or not, existence is taking care of you, and all that you need to do is place your faith in it and do your duty with gratitude. You will then be showered upon by existence. But we don't have faith. A small story. A man lived without any faith in God. Suddenly one day, he fell from a hilltop and he found himself dangling from just the grip of a tree's root. He was filled with terror. He suddenly remembered people talking about God all the time. He thought to himself, why not try to ask God for help? And he cried out, "Oh God, I have never had faith in you. Are you really there? Can you save me now?" The voice of God thundered back, "Sure, son, just let go of the root that you are holding, and I will hold you from beneath." The man cried out again, "Is there anyone else out there who can help me?" We are simply not ready to place our trust on existence. The very quality of trusting the universe in your being will make you live like God on earth. You are missing out on this wonderful opportunity due to your own ignorance and ego. If we consciously feel a sense of continued gratitude towards the cosmic energy, we will be able to feel ourselves being taken care of in its very lap. We will feel ourselves being cradled by this energy, like a child is by the mother. And whether you accept it or not, this is the truth. A man dreamt that he and God were walking on the beach through the journey of life. He told God, "O Lord, I dreamt that you and I were walking on the sands of the beach. When I looked back at the trails on the sand, I saw that at times when life was most testing, at times when I had the deepest troubles, there was only one line of footsteps. The other was missing. How could you move away from me during those times?" God replied, "Son, it was during those times that I carried you." Such a beautiful story. Let me tell you from my own experience. In my days of wandering, I have traveled more than 30,000 kilometers, out of which more than 2,000 kilometers I have covered by foot. I traveled with just 2 pieces of clothing and a vessel for begging food. I had taken a vow not to touch money and not to save food for the next meal. People asked me how it was possible. I tell you now, I simply placed trust on existence and concentrated on my goal, and that was attaining the state of enlightenment. Existence simply took care of me. That is how it happened. When you hear me saying things like have faith in existence, you may think that this concept is for yesteryears of justice and saints. Not at all. I am talking from my own experience, from what has happened to me, who is sitting right in front of you now. And I think I am the youngest in this gathering. So I am not talking of anything from long ago. Understand that. Just try living with gratitude and watch the miracles happening. Existence gives if you are ready to receive without a question, with just a brimming heart. A man dreamt that he went to heaven and that an angel was showing him around heaven. They walked side by side. First they entered a large workroom filled with many angels. The room was bustling with activity. The angel guide stopped and explained to the man, "This is the receiving section. Here all petitions to God that are received through prayer are sorted out." The man looked around and he saw that it was terribly busy with so many angels sorting out petitions written on different pieces of paper, long sheets, scrap sheets and whatnot. They were from people all over the world in different languages. Then they moved on and entered a second section. This section was also filled with many busy angels and lots of packages and papers. The guide angel explained, "This is the packaging and delivery section. Here the graces and blessings that the people asked for are processed and delivered to them on earth below." They walked on, and at the end of a long corridor, they stopped at the door of a small room. To the man's surprise, only one angel was seated there, bent over the desk. The man asked the angel, "How come this section is so quiet? Which section is this?" The angel friend quietly replied, "This is the blessings acknowledgement section. The acknowledgements sent by the people for the blessings that they have received are meant to be processed here." See, we all ask and ask, but how many of us thank for what we have received? How many of us include gratitude in our prayer along with our asking? Just try out the small exercise when you are by yourself. For 2 hours, keep aside your worries and needs and focus on all that existence has already given you. You will immediately think, if I don't worry about my needs, how can I fulfill them? Who will take care of my family? What will happen to my business? Agreed, you have to think about all these things. But just for the next 2 hours, take all these loads off your head and do what I am saying. In any case, do you think your family or your business is running because of you? Let me tell you, things are running smoothly not because of us, but in spite of us. If existence had to depend on our intelligence to sustain our families or our wealth, we would all be destitute by now. And be very clear, by simply worrying, nothing can be achieved. I think we have spoken enough about worrying earlier. So just for a few minutes, close your eyes and focus on what has already been showered on you, what you already have. Go over mentally all the things, your body, your wealth, the people who support and help you, your house, your luxuries, your vacations, everything. Enjoy all of them in a relaxed and grateful way. Take as much time as possible. Don't rush and go over it in a hurry. Just live all of it in your mind. Stay with that feeling. Stay with that wonderful feeling of fulfillment for a while. Just feel yourself becoming filled with gratitude and overflowing with it. When you open your eyes, you will see what you have is more than enough to run your life, and you will wonder, what more do I want? You have to just become gratitude. The best way to become gratitude is to learn to enjoy without a reason. Enjoy everything that you see, everything that you hear, and everything that you do with the supreme confidence that existence is taking care. Life will then simply transform in your eyes, and you will be overflowing all the time because you are always enjoying. A small story. There was a man who was walking past a mangrove which was overflowing with mangoes of different varieties. He entered the grove, looked around, studied it, took down some statistics, and left half an hour later with facts and figures. After a while, another man walked past the same grove. He entered it, plucked a few mangoes, ate them joyfully and left. Now please don't stop by at any mangrove and eat up the mangoes. You might get stoned for it. Try to understand what I am trying to tell. Just learn to enjoy without questioning. I don't mean that you should drop all your work and only enjoy all the time. You need to work, no doubt. No one is going to give you everything if you only enjoy. I'm only saying, don't look for reasons to enjoy, that's all. Simply enjoy everything without questioning. Let enjoying become your very nature. Then gratitude will become your very being. Your profession may be anything. Your social status may be anything. Your economic status may be anything. But enjoying is something that every man can do irrespective of all this. The problem is, you always feel that there should be a causative factor for everything, including enjoyment. You have trained your mind with these kinds of thought patterns. This is also the reason why you often feel that others have been blessed with things that they don't deserve, while you have not been given enough for your efforts. You always think that you need to work hard in order to enjoy. No. Working hard is all right, but it has nothing to do with the capacity to enjoy. Just drop this idea. This is the only way you can stop complaining or feeling dissatisfied. Existence showers. If you choose to enjoy it, you will enjoy. It is purely your choice. You choose wrongly and then complain or blame someone else. Remember, no one is responsible for anything that happens to you. Everything is a conscious choice that you make unconsciously. Because of lack of awareness in you, you simply make unconscious and monotonous decisions and land up complaining about life. Always remember, heaven and hell are not geographical locations in the outside world. You create them within yourself. The moment you lose trust over existence, you alienate yourself from it and carry hell with you wherever you go. Don't think that hell is something outside of you. It is just in your mind. It is your choice, your nature, that decides if you are in hell or in heaven. A teacher once asked her students, "Can anyone tell me where you think hell is?" After a long silence, one child stood up and replied, "In my dad's study, miss." The teacher was surprised, and she asked him why he said that. The child replied, "Every time I go to my dad's study, he says, 'Get the hell out of here.'" Children are trained from a young age to think of hell and heaven as entities outside of them. They are trained to think that God is sitting above on a big throne and watching every movement of ours and noting down our sins and good deeds. By thinking in this way, we start the cause and effect cycle of all our actions. We associate good deeds with heaven and bad deeds with hell. We start thinking of God and the whole of existence as a transaction center. Each one of us becomes a businessman in our own way, whatever may be our real profession. What do you do when you go to the temple? You purchase flowers, coconuts and fruits, and then you go to the deity inside and make an offering in your family's name to the deity. You tell the name, birth star, etc. of each and every member of your family and you do the ritual. The poor priest will hold one bowl in his hand and you will be telling him a long list of names with all the details of each of your family members. You're so afraid that God will send the blessings to the wrong person, to the wrong household. You give him the exact geographical location, etc. and emphasize to him that it is you and no one else who has come with the offering. Only after doing this you leave the temple. Am I right? As if God does not know if you don't tell him all this. As if you need to remind God of your existence so that he will shower on you. I tell you, All you need to do is feel continued gratitude towards Him, that's all. He is always showering on you. It is not that He sees you in trouble and then decides to bail you out, or sees that you are all right and therefore ignores you. All these are our own conditionings that we project on God and try to read. All these are what society has taught us from a very young age. The concept of gratitude has become so distorted among us. We feel that gratitude is something we have to feel when we are brought out of deep trouble, or when someone goes out of his way in caring or sharing. This is the most ridiculous belief taught to us. I tell you, simply enter into the temple with a feeling of gratitude. Stand before every deity with deep thankfulness and leave the temple with that same mood. That is enough. The rest will be taken care of. This is the ultimate prayer. Gratitude is the ultimate puja or offering. While you are here these few days, use the time effectively to experience what I am saying. Just allow gratitude to take root in these 7 days. And when you are away from the outer world, open up and allow yourself to flower. This is a rare opportunity for you. This is a chance for you to transform. Don't miss it. Create that new inner space in you, which will go with you when you leave this place. You see, the problem is, we're always trying to reach God through our heads. You can never reach God through your head. If you simply drop your head, you will automatically function through your heart and discover that you need not even reach out to Him. He's already there in you. God is already there inside you. With your head, you will always seek outside, and you can never find God outside. With your head, you will be looking for reasons to feel grateful. But when you move from your head to your heart, a whole new space will open out for you, and you will realize that you always knew, and that it was your mind which was causing all the havoc and not letting you realize it. When you operate from your heart, you are always in gratitude. Do we ever say mind-felt gratitude? No. We always say heartfelt gratitude, is it not? Next you will ask, how do we move from our head to our heart, Swamiji? Just be aware of your head, that is enough. Only because you are unaware of your head, you allow it to function in an undisturbed fashion, in a mechanical fashion. Once you become aware of your head, you will be able to drop it. Gratitude is not any virtue. It has to be your very attitude. You need nothing more than this to feel yourself tuning in with existence. When you feel only gratitude, you can tune yourself beautifully to existence, and then existence will reveal itself to you in all its magical splendor. All you need to do is then sit back and enjoy. Let me explain to you what I mean by tuning. We all know how the radio works, don't we? All right. The same radio, without any change in its physical form, can be connected to many radio stations airing different programs, is it not? Now, while you are listening to a particular station, if there are any disturbances or crosstalk, what do? We fine-tune it, isn't it? To listen more clearly to any one station, we fine-tune it. That's all we need to do. Now just apply the same concept to tuning ourselves to existence. There are thousands of programs happening around us. Whatever we tune ourselves to, that we will experience. Now tuning to any one program is purely your own choice. Anyone objecting to this? No. You have the freedom to choose the program you wish to listen to. Am I right? In the same way, if you choose to tune yourself with the chaos that is created around you by human minds, you will become chaotic. You will be caught in the never-ending whirlpool of worry, discontent, dilemma and what not. Whereas, when you choose to tune yourself with existence, with the central chord that is running through this whole show, you have caught the right thread in all the chaos that is around you. And you will be free from all these emotions, I can assure you. You'll be a beautiful flower that blossoms with a fragrance. With the earlier emotions, life will seem like an eternal state of discontentment. With the latter, life will become like music, the very language of existence, and you will only enjoy with gratitude all the time. The more you fine-tune yourself with existence, the more ecstatic your life will be. Discontentment will pull you down. It will make you heavy and miserable. But on the other hand, gratitude and the fulfillment that comes along with it will make you light and blissful. We all feel discontented because we take things for granted. When you take things for granted, you miss a lot. And nothing can make you happy or joyful. I tell you, never take anything for granted. Listen to the small story. A beggar stopped a man on the road and asked him, 2 years back, you used to give me 20 rupees. Last year, fully you gave me only 10 rupees. And now for the past few months, you are giving me only 2 rupees. Why? The man replied, first I was a bachelor. Then I got married. And now I have a baby. That's why. The beggar cried, what? You are using my money to run your family. The beggar says, you are using my money to run your family. Actually, many of us think that it is our birthright to expect another person to keep providing for us and our needs. And we simply take them for granted, isn't it? We don't realize what deep ignorance we are in when we are with this kind of an attitude. We are not even aware that we are totally lacking when we are in this way. This whole attitude has to undergo a radical change. Even your own father or mother or husband or wife should never be taken for granted. One day a man came home from work to find his wife in a terrible mood. She screamed to him, I finally managed to train up the maid to do all the work in the house, and now she has quit. The man asked sympathetically, for what reason, dear? She replied, well, you are the reason. She claims that you spoke so rudely to her over the telephone that she felt she needed to guard her self-respect and therefore she quit. The man was baffled and blurted, but I thought I was talking to you. We always take relationships for granted and get into complications because of that. Learn to treat every individual as a part of the whole and feel gratitude towards him or her. Then you will never take anyone for granted. You will then worship and respect everyone for being a part of existence. When you don't take things for granted, you will count your blessings. You will sit and analyze. You will realize that we always count what we have not received. However much we are showered, we are not happy because we are thinking about the things that have not yet reached us. Imagine if you had to sit down and make a list of the things that you feel have been showered on you in life. You can start the list with your own eyes. As I said earlier, there are so many people who have not been blessed with eyesight. Can you even imagine what will happen if you woke up one day and realized that you have turned blind? You will not even be able to get out of your bed and go to the bathroom. Every task that you performed thanklessly earlier will demand all your effort for it now. Anyway, if you start writing a list that you have been given in life, it will be a very long list. Once you finish this list, write down a list of the things that you feel you have not been given. This will also be a long list, a very long list actually. The list will probably start with a Benz car and end up being longer than the Benz car itself. Both the lists are endless, infinite actually. If you write sincerely without missing a single thing, both the lists are endless. Alright, now we have the two lists in front of us. It is now up to us to decide which of the lists we are going to see. Are we going to look at the things not given to us and make our lives dull and dead? Or are we going to look at the things that have been showered on us and enjoy making our lives beautiful? It is purely our choice. A person who takes everything for granted will look at the second list with greed and discontentment. When you are greedy, you will automatically feel only discontented because there is no end to your greed, and therefore contentment can never happen in you. Anyhow, this person will totally miss out on the joy of life. He will totally miss out on the joy of life that is there in the first list. Anything that comes his way, whether it is big or small, will seem ordinary to him, and he'll only wait for the next thing to arrive. Am I right? And when the next thing arrives, that will also look ordinary to him because he is already thinking of the next thing. Whereas a person who is always in gratitude will not even know that the second list exists. He only knows to feel and breathe gratitude every moment. Life is an eternal celebration for him. He'll be so light and joyful. He will be a treat to watch. He will exude a beauty that is unique unto himself. He does not even know that there is a second list. He does not know that language at all. He knows only to enjoy everything with deep love and gratitude. Just by being in gratitude all the time, every so-called mundane thing in life can become sacred and wonderful. I tell you, you think that life has become mundane only because of your attitude of taking things for granted. Life is not mundane as you think. Every small thing is so beautiful. Your mind is what is mundane. Your mind does not allow you to penetrate and see the beautiful way in which existence is flowing. Your mind has become a dead pattern that is constantly repeating what next, what next. When you're able to look at things with a wonderful attitude, with awe, it fills you with such gratitude and fulfillment because you're not questioning at that point in time. You're not allowing your mind to play at all. You're simply resonating with your heart. It is then that you become a child. And when you become a child, nothing is mundane. Everything is wondrous. That is why children look so beautiful. Their mind is not dead. Their mind is fresh and flowing. Society has not yet conditioned their minds with the familiar patterns. So learn to look at everything with gratitude and awe. Take your own body for example. Just try the small exercise now. Sit down and close your eyes. Just visualize that your little finger on the right hand is cut in a minor accident. Imagine now that your little finger is only 3/4 of its original size. There is no other deformity in your body that you know of. You have a perfect body. Suddenly, only a little finger is cut. How will be your reaction to it? It will be very difficult for you to digest it, isn't it? For every simple task that you use your hand for, the little finger has a role to play, is it not? So what will happen to you? You might even become depressed. Now just think, how many people are there in this world with so many deformities? There are so many people who don't have all 5 fingers. From your head to your toe, even if there were a single handicap, you'll miss enjoying some aspect of your life. Is it not? Just try to spend a few minutes every day in your room by yourself, touching every part of your body with love and thanking that part for enabling you to enjoy so many things in life. Have you ever thought about your body in this fashion? How much we take our body for granted, how much we abuse it. Some of us even hate our bodies because we feel it is not beautiful enough. I tell you, if you do this exercise every day and feel deep love and gratitude to every part of your body, you will see that your whole body and face glows with a new radiance. Your body responds to your mind. Never neglect it or take it for granted. After all, it is only with your body that you are able to enjoy so many things, isn't it? Even for you to come here today and to listen to this talk effortlessly, you need all the parts of your body to function properly. A small story. In a Christian household, a girl was sitting at the dinner table with her mother. Food was served at the table, and she started eating her food without saying grace. The mother was shocked, and she asked her how she could do such a thing. The girl promptly replied, "There is nothing on this plate that I have not said thanks for at least once before." This is what I mean by the attitude of taking things for granted. It is saddening to see it taking root in our children. A young girl asked her mother, "Mom, how many more days are remaining for Christmas?" The mother asked, "Why do you want to know?" So the girl replied, "I was just wondering whether it was time for me to start being a good girl." This is exactly how we train our children to think and behave. We teach them how to do transactions. We teach them that everything is nothing but a transaction. We don't teach them to be spontaneous and flowing. We don't teach them to live without a purpose. We make everything goal-oriented for them. All these things are utterly nonsensical. Because of all these things that have been done to them, you have to work hard in undoing them first. Be very clear. All that I am doing to you is only undoing. I am continuously undoing. Imagine the amount of doing that has been done to you. Over generations, people have been passing on their ideas to you. I have to first undo all that and then create a space in you for you to flower. When I tell people to feel a continued sense of gratitude in them, they go and come back and tell me, "Swamiji, these days I say thank you to the cab drivers and to the servants at home." Be very clear. When gratitude becomes your being, you will not even report these kind of things to me. Tell me one thing. When you are grieving the loss of a dear one, do you verbalize your grief? Will you be able to verbalize your grief? No, because it becomes such a deep-rooted emotion. Because it is such a deep-rooted state of your being, is it not? You can only feel it. You can never report it. In the same way, when gratitude becomes your very being, it will simply become your state and you will not be reporting it. You can never report it also. Of course, saying thank you is all right for social reasons, because unless you express it, it doesn't reach the ears of the other person. But what I am trying to tell you here is, we need to move from gratitude of the mind to gratitude of the being. The gratitude that we are talking about, you will never be able to express because it runs so deep. People often say to me, "Swamiji, we are so grateful to you for so many things that you have done to us, so many things that have happened in our lives after your association." I tell you, for reasons of social etiquette, you may thank a person for something, but gratitude is not something that you direct towards a person. When you feel gratitude towards a person for something you have received, it is simply gratitude of the mind. This is the KG stage of gratitude, the kindergarten stage of gratitude. Real gratitude is a deep, overwhelming feeling inside yourself, not as a result of any gain, but just at the thought of existing, at the thought of the compassionate life force that is existence. That's all. This gratitude does not need any relationship. It is not dependent on anyone or anything. It is not under the sway of any emotions like lust, anger, hatred or love. It simply is. That's all. You express your gratitude with words because you are egoistic and you don't want people to think that you lack courtesy. The moment you express it, you belittle or falsify it. Actually, your very body language can convey the same gratitude in you. Your eyes can convey it. Your smile can convey it. Your warmth can convey it much better than words. Tears of gratitude express it better than anything else. When you're overwhelmed, when you're brimming, tears just overflow. I'm not asking you to cry. I'm only telling you that when you overflow, your body will show it. You cannot hide it. And that is the real indication of the state of your being. And remember, these tears don't belong to any caste or creed or religion. They cannot be classified as Hindu tears or Muslim tears. These tears don't belong to any religion. They belong to the being. And the being is beyond all this. Gratitude is one thing that can dissolve all man-made barriers and conditionings. And that is why it is the ultimate prayer. Anything deep can never be expressed wholly. Poets may write poems to express. Painters may paint to express it. Writers may write to express it. But there will remain a portion that can never be expressed through any of these. Existence can never be expressed by ordinary things. That is why it is so mystical and luring. That is why it is so exciting beyond what words can describe when it happens to you. That is why you can only feel it and not express it. And that is why you come here again and again to me. With me, you don't have to express any gratitude, because even without expressing it, I will know. When real gratitude is overwhelming in you, I will know it even before you do. I know the beat of your heart. I know it from the depth of the look in your eyes. In fact, when you express to me, you might be deceiving yourself because most of the time you think and talk in contradicting ways. You might be thinking something inside, but you express something else outside. Remember, existence knows when a person is flowering from within. Just feel the deep gratitude towards existence. That is enough. You don't have to express it. Just become it. That's all. In India, there is a tradition of touching the Master's feet. When you are overflowing with gratitude to the Master, there is no way to express it. You then simply touch his feet, feel the oneness and express the gratitude in you. Many people come from many places to visit me. Some of them come and stand in front of me and don't say anything. Just tears of joy flow from their eyes. They don't feel compelled to say anything because they cannot say anything more than what their tears are conveying. They are just emoting from their being. When you are in the presence of the Master, just be there with a deep sense of gratitude and love, with a feeling of gratitude at just being present near him. You will find that all your questions will dissolve and you are filled up with a certain joy in no time. When you fill up easily, it means that you have caught the right thread. When you don't fill up easily and leave with a feeling of discontentment, with unanswered questions, you have clearly missed. Always be with the Master with deep awareness, then you will not miss. When you are with gratitude with the Master's energy will pour into your being and His experience will simply flood you. And when you feel only gratitude towards the Master, the need to be physically near Him will slowly dissolve. Gratitude helps you to cut across space and time. It dissolves boundaries and makes you expand. When you expand, you feel one with everything. After some time, even gratitude will seem like a disturbance. Just silence will prevail. I tell you, even in relationships, if you feel that any relationship is coming to an end with no love lost, you can simply feel gratitude towards the other and depart, that's all. Just feel gratitude inside for having been associated with the other person for that period of time, for all that you learnt and enjoyed because of your association with him or her for that period of time, and then depart. Then even that becomes beautiful. People ask me, Swamiji, how can we feel gratitude towards our enemies? I ask you, why not? Your so-called enemies are responsible in making you stronger. They are a challenge to you. They make you grow. By hurting you, they show you a different perspective of life to deal with. Why then not feel gratitude towards them? After all, you want to grow, is it not? Every moment you want to become more intelligent. If these people did not open up these opportunities for you, you will be living deluded by only friends surrounding you, and that is not going to help you much. You need to get roughed out. Only then you will rupture and intelligence will flower. The seed has to rupture for the tree to grow. If the seed is happy remaining a seed, it will simply disintegrate with time and die, that's all. No transformation will happen to it. When it comes to so-called enmity, an ordinary man will make it look ugly. He will take it to a point where everything becomes a vicious circle, moving from hatred to hatred. In so many families, there are feuds. It becomes ugly and too much to deal with. Why? It is you who have allowed it to grow in that way. You did not function with deep awareness and intelligence. You were not functioning with fulfillment, and so you allowed it to grow in an ugly fashion. If you were functioning with fulfillment, you would have not been able to see any space for the enmity to grow. Do you follow what I am saying? When you are in a state of fulfillment all the time, you cannot even see a space for these kinds of things. It will be like an unknown language to you. Even if the other person wants to continue the enmity, you will not feel any hatred towards him. If he wants to end the relationship, you will only end it with gratitude again. In so many families, people don't look each other in the eye, or they actually even take pains to avoid each other in public places. Why all these unnecessary things? Why are you wasting your energy in these kinds of things? Never allow hatred to consume you. Look at it with deep awareness and intelligence, and hatred will disappear. Only love and gratitude will remain. Yes, any questions? Swamiji, these days I feel only gratitude to you, and in a way, I don't have any wanting from you. But strangely, I want you to remember my name and call me by it now and then. Is this kind of a discontentment or craving from my side, Swamiji? This is a beautiful thing you have come up with. It goes to show that you have analyzed yourself very deeply. You see, when you seek attention from your mind through jealousy or discontentment, it becomes unhealthy. But when you ask with love and gratitude, it is not a craving. It is simply a deep love for me, that's all. When you pray with a wanting, it is simply ungratefulness and a play of the ego. But when you ask out of deep love, it becomes a prayer filled with gratitude and devotion. There is a difference between the two. You are in awareness, So it cannot be called discontentment or craving. With time, this too will drop for you. And one more thing, you have had the courage to come up with this question. I am sure many others secretly feel the same way, but have not said it aloud. They may have consoled themselves by saying, "What is there in a name?" Or they may feel shy to come out with it. Of course, there is nothing in a name, but you need to go beyond it with an experiential understanding, not delude yourself out of it. The fact that you have come up with a question shows that you are willing to courageously go through it. Have you understood? People ask me, "Swamiji, what can we do for you in return to show our gratitude to you?" I tell them, the best thing that you can do for me in return is flower. That is the best thing that you can do for me and the best that I can do for you. Understand that. When you internalize these words and make gratitude your being, you have done a lot in return for me. But one thing I can tell you, if you feel that you have to do something in return, do some service to society. Help others. Help awaken others to the joy that you have discovered. Don't do it out of ego or superiority. Do it for the love of sharing, for the joy of sharing. Give your full energy and enjoy doing it. It will become a joyful meditation for you and an awakening for them. Every time you feel deep gratitude, you are actually in meditation. So just imagine if you are in gratitude forever. You are all the time in meditation. See one thing, gratitude can never be taught. Of course, the idea of feeling grateful can be told to children when they are young, so that they know about it. But it remains a social conditioning, just like other things. Like how you are taught to respect your elders, like how you are taught to wish your teachers in school and other things. It is just a mechanism of the mind, not an actual feeling inside you. It is only when you start feeling a connection with existence, real gratitude will arise in you. There is no other way. When gratitude arises in this form, it is not directed to anything in particular. It is just there as your fragrance, that's all. When this happens, you automatically know that gratitude is your prayer. This prayer is only uplifting. It makes you rise in love and fulfillment. You know the secret of communing with existence. You know how to feel deeply connected all the time. You know how to enjoy without a reason. You know how to look at everything and everyone as a part of the whole. You know how to integrate instead of dissecting and analyzing and feeling discontented. And above all, you will know how to relate with the Master. The real relationship with the Master can start only when gratitude becomes your prayer. Until then you are only asking, and when you ask, you miss. Even now be very clear, I am not teaching you to be grateful. I am only trying to create an inner space in you wherein you will feel what I am saying, wherein it will become your own experience. The energy behind my words can create that space in you, that's all. Whenever you are given freedom, you become a better individual and you are ready to open up. When you are under psychological slavery, it becomes difficult for you to explore and find your inner space. I always tell people, I am the liberating guru. I give tremendous freedom when working on people. Only then it becomes easy for them to explore and evolve. Of course, I am not telling parents that they should give their children complete freedom and watch them without interfering. I am only saying that psychological slavery should be avoided. Just create all the conditions for them to evolve. Take the necessary precautions, no doubt. But allow them to experience the truth for themselves instead of stuffing it down their throats. Give them enough space to grow and experience their inner bliss. Sometimes people ask me, Swamiji, how is it that you are so blissful all the time? Masters are all the time in an ecstatic state because of the deep state of gratitude that just continuously bubbles in them, because they are in communion with existence all the time. When you feel gratitude just towards me or just towards anyone else, you miss the whole. Gratitude is not a beam that is directed in a controlled manner towards a few people. It is a fragrance. When you wear it, it simply radiates from you. That is why a master appears so blissful all the time. A master is like a fragrance that you can experience and enjoy. That is why you are drawn here again and again and again. See, understand one thing. Every moment is beautiful if you are ready to receive and see it. It is not that only when we are celebrating a function or we have seen success or when we have achieved something, the moment is beautiful. Every single moment is beautiful because existence simply flows spontaneously and joyfully, and all the events happen in synchronicity all the time. When you understand this, nothing will ever seem wrong to you. You will then wonder what people are complaining all the time about. When you feel gratitude towards existence, the whole of existence becomes a temple to you. Then you are in a prayerful and meditative mood anywhere you are. You no longer need to go to temples and pray. You simply merge with the whole and feel blissful all the time. When the whole of existence becomes a temple, the trees, the sky, the earth, everything becomes one. When you bow down before it, what can you ask for? You will simply bow down with gratitude for being part of the profound existence, that's all. When this happens, you can relate to the trees, you can relate to the sky, to the earth, and to everything else. You will then move from communication, which is the language of the mind, to communion, which is the language of the heart. You then shift your center from your mind to your heart. For those of you who believe that God answers your prayers, let me tell you one thing. God is so compassionate that most often than not, He leaves your prayers unanswered. It is like this. When a child asks for an ice cream when he is suffering from a cold, do you give it to him? No, you don't give it to him. Now the child might feel ungrateful to you for it, but you know that you are doing your best for the child because he does not know that what he is asking for is not the right thing for him at that time. In the same way, with your deep ignorance, you don't know what is best for you, but you keep asking God for various things. But out of pure compassion, God gently brushes aside your prayers and bestows you with the things that you actually need. And He prods you on towards better intelligence, which is His only concern for you. Remember, the more your inner intelligence grows, the lesser you pray or ask. What can you ask God for? The moment you ask, it means that you think there are a few things that God does not know. It means that you feel that unless you ask, God will not know. It sounds ridiculous, is it not? Can there be anything that God does not know? Understand, God gives you what you need, not what you want. If He starts giving all that you want, you will move from misery to misery. When He gives you what you need, you will move from intelligence to more intelligence. And somewhere, the asking will drop and gratitude will happen. God gives you the strength and courage that you need to overcome difficulties. He gives you the wisdom to dissolve your so-called problems. He gives you invaluable resource, that is your own updated intelligence to bring you prosperity. He gives you opportunities for you to explore your own love and care. He gives you everything that you need to understand that all that you have is all that you need. He gives you everything that you need for you to mature and flower with the fragrance. The basic problem with all of us is, we are all ready to believe that God has the Shakti or power to give us what we want. But we fail to understand that He also has the buddhi or intelligence to decide whether or not it is good for us. Simply because we believe that God has only power, we keep asking and asking. We always feel that we know what is best for us and pray to God for that. We want to use our intelligence and God's power to get us what we want. We clearly tell Him, "This is what I want. This is how things should be. So please do this for me with your power." We give all our wants with our preferences within brackets as prayer to God. This is the attitude that gets us into complications. You have to understand that God not only has the power, but also the intelligence to decide what is good for you. When you understand this, you will stop asking. You think that the whole world is running because of your intelligence. Be very clear. The world is running in spite of your intelligence. You are so used to the concept of trading that it becomes difficult for you to understand that there can be someone who is not even your blood relative and who can take care of you unconditionally without expecting anything in return. It is too much for you to believe. I tell you, existence cares for you like no one else can. This truth I can tell you. But it is up to each one of you to realize this from within, from your own experience. Only then it will be first-hand knowledge for you. I always tell people, I cannot teach you spirituality, but you can learn. I can tell you great truths so that you will at least know what you don't know. But making that truth into an understanding for yourself is up to you. I am ready to tell you how many ever times you want to hear the truth. A small story. Once when Shankara went on a Parivarajaka Yatra, a pilgrimage on foot with his disciples, at one place he was feeling very thirsty. They looked around but could not find anything to quench his thirst. There was only a palm grove where they were producing country arrack. Shankara entered the grove and asked the workers if they had anything to quench his thirst. They said they had nothing except the country arrack. Shankara asked for the country arrack and drank it. The disciples saw Shankara drinking. Immediately, they also asked for the arrack and drank it. The arrack did not affect Shankara because he is an enlightened being, having boundaryless consciousness. He walked on steadily, but his disciples are staggering behind him. After a few days, again they were walking, but this time in a desert area. They felt thirsty, and this time they saw only an iron forgery. Nothing else was available. Shankara asked the worker attending there if there was anything to drink. The worker said there was nothing to drink. But Shankara saw the molten iron, the liquid iron, and he asked the worker for it and drank it. After drinking the liquid iron, he turned to his disciples and offered it to them. The disciples were simply shocked. Shankara wanted to make them understand that they should do what he says and not what he does. The arrack did not affect him because he was established in boundaryless consciousness. Unless you have experienced, you will not know. So you cannot simply imitate from outside. It has to happen from inside for each of you. Only then you will know. How committed or how connected you want to feel with the truth is your own decision. I can only help those who help themselves. I can give my hand to lift you up only if you are willing to at least lift your hand to reach out to mine. If you really want to be lifted, you will at least put out your hand to me. Else, I will allow you the freedom to simply be where you are, that's all. That is why I say, God gives you the freedom to be in bondage. Most of us think that we are not helped the way we should be by God. I tell you, God knows you better than you know yourself. This is the truth. You have to understand this, that's all. Just try to drop the doubt and have some faith. That is enough. The rest will be taken care of automatically. A small story. 2 goldfish were inside a fish tank. One of them asked the other, "Do you really believe in the existence of God?" The other replied, "What else do you think changes our water every day?" If you believe that existence takes care of all your needs, you will be free from any kind of worry. But remember, as I told you, your needs are different from your wants. Your needs are few, but your wants are many. Your needs are automatically fulfilled by existence. When your wants increase, you lose faith in existence because you don't see them being fulfilled. You see, ordinary belief is just believing, that's all. Faith, on the other hand, is belief plus energy put into action. You can start with belief, but you have to end in faith. With belief, there will be doubt. With faith, there will be no doubt, because you would have experienced it. When you have experienced for yourself the wonders of gratitude, you will attract more and more fortune for yourself. I am declaring this from my own experience. A small story. A boy once visited a king's palace. He requested him to allow him to stay for a night in the palace. The king agreed and the boy stayed. The next morning, the boy came up to the king and complained endlessly about the shortcomings of the accommodation provided to him. The king ordered the boy to be taken out, saying that even a day's accommodation was too much for a person such as him. The boy felt very bad. He went to a Sufi saint and narrated to him all that happened. The saint did not say anything. He simply asked the boy to become his disciple. A few months later, the saint told the boy that he was going to visit the king. He also asked him to accompany him. They went to the palace and they asked to be allowed to stay for a few days in the palace. The king agreed. The next morning, the king asked the saint if he was comfortable with the arrangements made for him. The saint expressed heartfelt gratitude towards the king for the comforts made for him. The king was very happy, and immediately he ordered his men to pay more attention to the arrangements made for the saint. The saint then told the boy, "Do you see now? This is the secret of life. Feel grateful and you will be showered. This is what happens when you thank existence instead of finding fault with what has been given to you. By feeling gratitude, you send out positive vibrations that will automatically bring back more than you can imagine for yourself. This does not mean that you have to praise people with your lips and cunningly deceive them to get more. No. When you are in a state of thankfulness all the time, irrespective of the things in the outer world, your gratitude will radiate from you. Then things will simply start happening for you. People ask me, "Swamiji, there's so much suffering around us. Why is this so?" I tell you, this is all nonsense. First of all, there is no such thing as so much suffering as you make it out to be. There is suffering, all right, but it is magnified by your own mind. If you take a proper statistics and see, you will understand how much your mind plays in these things. It has become a casual social talk to say all these things and then magnify the whole thing. Secondly, there is suffering because our faith has disappeared, that's all. We have become greedy, we have become avaricious, driven by our unconscious ways. See, understand, existence simply orchestrates the happenings in the universe. All the events are so synchronously conducted that the more aware you are, the more you can perceive the amazing order in what now seems to be chaotic to you. We just need to be aware of this and play our part accordingly. Life will then flow like music. When you become sensitive to this phenomenon, from small events to larger ones, you will start realizing how things are being rearranged and made to happen with you being a simple instrument in the whole process. The power of coincidence will start revealing itself to you in its entire splendor. You'll become aware that you are part of a macrocosmic orchestra wherein you just need to flow with the music and enjoy it. It is only when you fight the flow, when you try to go against it, does the problem start. A small story. One day people came rushing to one man and they told him that his wife had fallen into the river and she was being washed away. The man immediately ran to the river, took off his clothes and plunged into it and swam upstream. The people screamed, "Why are you swimming upstream? She would have obviously been washed away downstream." The man screamed back, "Only I know my wife. Even in the river, she would have gone only against the current, not with it." When we fight the flow, the problem starts. Because it means that we have allowed our ego to step in between existence and ourselves. On the other hand, if we understand the flow of existence and go with it, we will be so spontaneous. We will be able to take on everything that comes our way, and we will expand with gratitude. When you are spontaneous, it means you are ready to take on any responsibility. I always tell people, responsibility is the ability to respond spontaneously. Masters take up responsibility for the whole world. How do they do it? Because they are so spontaneous and moving with the flow of existence all the time. They know that if they simply flow with existence, existence will make things happen in a natural fashion. If you talk to the ashramites in our ashram, they will tell you about their experiences with me. It is very hard for them to know things beforehand and keep pace with me, because I am all the time flowing with existence. Over time, they first learn to drop their ideas of needing enough lead time in order to function. And then slowly they learn to be ready for anything at any time. That is how things happen at the ashram. Things happen on the spur of the moment. An outsider will be amazed to perceive the orderly chaos that happens at the ashram. Be it pujas or functions, I will tell them just a few hours ahead and things will get done. I will tell them only a few hours ahead because I am flowing continuously and not with any frame or plan. If we learn to flow with existence, we can live without a care. But somehow, we have all mastered the art of fighting existence. We then suffer. If you tune yourself with the flow of existence, you will find that every moment you are being watched over and given what you need for that moment. When you tune in, you carry the radiance and energy of existence with you. You will be able to see things getting rearranged, things falling into place just like a jigsaw puzzle, so that things happen for you. You'll be able to feel people receiving you with a strange spontaneity and enthusiasm wherever you go. People will look at you differently. They will experience a magnetic pull towards you. Your life will become a song that is being played by an unseen musician, to which you are simply dancing. Life becomes just music and dance. It becomes a celebration. But instead of celebrating, we are all the time searching for more, searching for miracles. We are all the time looking for miracles to happen and feel that they are not happening to us. I tell you, miracles are never done. They simply happen continuously around you. It is your recognizing capacity that makes them miracles. Just use gratitude to tune yourself with existence, and you will see the miracles that are happening. Gratitude will tune you to the miracles. Either you enjoy them or you miss them. It is your choice. When you miss them, you will remain discontented. It is like this. The door is open, but you are continuously knocking on it. I am telling you that all you need is already there, and you only have to receive it. But you are not ready to believe. You don't see the miracles that are already happening around you, and instead you go in search of them. Understand, turning water into wine is not a miracle. Turning man into God is the real miracle. P.C. Sarkar, the great magician, will do the former, but it takes deep understanding to do the latter. A small story which Ramakrishna used to say often. Two brothers lived together. The older brother decided to pursue business, while the younger brother went on to become a sadhu. After a few years, they met each other. They asked each other what they had achieved in the past few years. The older brother listed out all the material things that he had achieved in the outer world. He explained about his business and how much wealth he had accumulated. He then asked the younger brother what he had achieved. The younger one simply took him to a river, crossed it seamlessly on foot, and proudly declared, "This is what I have achieved." The older brother hired a boat and ferried him to the other side of the river and said, What takes 2 pence to achieve? You have achieved in so many years. People think that if they can do miracles in the outer world, they have become spiritual and powerful. No. Understand, spirituality is not a game of miracles in the outer world. It is a game in the inner world to change your personality to individuality, which is the greatest miracle. Changing personality to individuality is the greatest miracle. People time and again beg me to do miracles. I tell them that these so-called miracles are not a scale to measure my state, but they don't want to listen. Even if just to demonstrate simple techniques like materializing, etc., I do 1 or 2 things, people will start coming to watch these miracles. For the magic show, not for the transformation. That is my worry. One day, upon persistent begging from a few devotees, I teleported a Lakshmi idol and gave it to them. I explained to them that it was not a miracle. Just because you don't know the cause and effect relationship of what you see, you think it is a miracle. What actually happens in teleporting is, just like how the sound waves from your voice over the telephone get converted to electrical signals and then gets transmitted over a medium and then get reconverted back to sound waves at the other end, I just convert matter into energy, move it across air and reconvert it back into matter. That's all. There is no miracle in this. So stop searching for miracles. Live with a feeling of gratitude and love for existence, and automatically you will see the real miracles happening to you. Your transformation is the greatest miracle that can happen through a master. And remember, you don't need miracles from a master, you only need intelligence. When your intelligence grows, you will handle your day-to-day activities effortlessly and you will be in peace. Right now, if you are, say, a manager, you have so many duties, is it not? You hire people, you supervise their performance, fix their salaries, etc. Are you able to do all these things without getting stressed? With intelligence, you will be able to handle them without getting stressed. You will be in peace. What you need is intelligence, not power. remember that very clearly. When you understand and experience that existence is taking care, you will transform and move on to becoming an individual liberated from all these kinds of delusions. We always place our faith on people, on astrologers, fortune tellers, planets, stars and whatnot. Never on existence, that is the very life source of the universe. In India, there is a thrilling tradition wherein people ask about their future to a parrot. On the pavements on the road, there will be a parrot in a cage with its owner beside it. The people who go by will stop and pay the owner some money and faithfully ask about their future. The owner will open out the cage and command the parrot to step out and pick up a paper from a row of stacked papers. The parrot will come out of the cage, pick up a paper with its beak and hold it out to the owner. The owner will read out what's written on it. That is the prediction of the person's future. A man with 6 senses asks a parrot with 4 senses to predict his future. How is it possible? I tell you, just leave all these foolish things and start falling in tune. Catch the central chord that is gratitude and move in tune with existence. When you watch masters, they appear to be so graceful, so miraculous and so divine. This is because they move in tune with existence. But you don't understand their state. You see only their status. When you understand their state, you will understand that they have simply merged with existence, and that is why they appear so blissful all the time. This is the state that you have to try to achieve. Instead, what do you say? Oh, he's a master. He's always in bliss. How will he know about my problems? I'm struggling here for my bread and butter, and he's asking me to be in gratitude all the time. I tell you, you can only see the rose petals at the master's feet. You only see his status and think that he knows nothing about your day-to-day matters. Remember, the respect he commands is due to his state, not his status. You have no idea of the struggle that has gone behind achieving that state. You talk of struggling for bread and butter. I tell you from my own experience. So many days of my wandering, I have gone without food. Of course, I never thought of it at that time as a shortcoming on the part of existence. I was so fervently in search of the truth that everything became meditation, including going without food. Barring a few charity houses, and in northern India, where sannyasis are given great respect, people always shun sannyasis. Sannyasis are always eyed with suspicion. You think that they have come to steal your property. I tell you, never shun them. Why don't you just give them a bowl of rice? That is enough for them. Never be miserly when it comes to giving people. Remember, if you are not willing to be a dhani, that is a man who gives a small portion of his wealth, you will be a mahadhani, one who leaves all his wealth and dies. Anyhow, please understand that I am talking from my own experience. Even in the deepest of troubles and struggle, if you function with unwavering faith and gratitude and use your inner intelligence in moving through them, you will see that you will emerge out of it successfully with only greater gratitude and intelligence. Even if you lose something very precious, just feel grateful for having enjoyed it for a while, that's all. When you become pure gratitude, you will not cry over anything lost. You will just enjoy it as long as it is there and then continue to feel grateful after it has gone also. A small story. A king used to go on his rounds at night in disguise in his own kingdom. Every night he would see a master sitting under a tree in a blissful state when the rest of the city was asleep. He felt a deep respect for the master. and requested him one night to stay with him at the palace. The master said, "All right, I will come today itself. Tomorrow is never sure." The king was taken aback at this rather abrupt acceptance of the invitation, but he took him to the palace. In the palace, he gave the master the best of rooms and the best of food. The master enjoyed everything to the utmost. The king was observing him as he enjoyed all the material comforts. He did not believe that a real master would enjoy like this. His respect for the master was reducing day by day. He felt cheated. Finally, one day, the master told him, "Something seems to be troubling you. Why don't you come out with it?" The king said, "Yes, I can't understand the difference between you and me when I see you enjoying all these things like I do." The master smiled and said, "All right, let us go for a walk." The king agreed and they went for a walk. They walked in silence for a long time. They came to a river that marked the end of the king's boundary. The master said, "All right, my stay is over. I am going, leaving your kingdom. Are you coming?" The king said, "How can I? I have my kingdom and my people and so many things to solve." The master smiled and said, "Now have you got an answer to your question?" The king was simply jolted at the master's words. Masters know that everything belongs to existence. That is why they live totally in the moment, enjoying it to the utmost. Every moment is lived with totality. They are not fearful of losing anything, because what is yours to lose? Never forget, everything belongs to existence. You are only a temporary possessor of it, that's all. Feel gratitude always, whether or not you are in possession of many things. That is the way to a liberating life. You can enjoy tremendous freedom when you understand this one thing. Another beautiful small story. God and all the scientists of the world had a meeting and a competition. Whatever item that God made, the scientists reproduced it identically out of some material. The scientists were able to reproduce things with no problem at all. Finally, God made man out of dust and challenged the scientists. The scientists started to pick up the dust. God said, "Wait, make it out of your dust, not mine." Man has to understand that existence is the creator, the created, and the creation. Only then can he simply start enjoying things without a care. Only then can he relinquish possession and doership. So understand, when you change your attitude from seeking discontentment, worries, and depression to seeking the present with gratitude, you'll automatically be able to harness the energy of existence better. You'll then be able to appreciate existence better, and gratitude will then become your attitude. A small story. A man went to the market to buy vegetables for his wife. He bought lady's finger, came home and showed it to his wife. The wife saw the lady's finger and said, "Oh, these are so overgrown, I will not be able to cook them." The man went the next day and bought some more lady's fingers, choosing carefully this time, and came home and showed them to his wife. The wife said, "What have you bought? They are too tender to make the dish I had in mind." The next day, the man went to the market, prayed to the shopkeeper and said, "Give me some good lady's fingers that are neither too ripe nor too tender." The shopkeeper picked the best lady's fingers himself, and the man took them home and showed them to his wife. The wife saw them and said, "What? You've bought lady's finger today also?" Appreciation never comes spontaneously for many of us. When we cannot appreciate spontaneously, It means that we are having a complaining or discontented nature in us. Actually, discontentment is food for our mind. To be discontented is like giving some food for the mind to chew. The mind will feed on it and keep itself busy. What happens when we feel too contented? The mind becomes starved. It doesn't know what to do. It starts searching for its food. A lady went to a shoe store. She asked for shoes to fit her feet, and the salesman patiently showed her many pairs of shoes. She tried on one after another, and she felt that none of them fitted her perfectly. Finally, the salesman showed her one pair and asked her to try them on. She tried them on and said, "It fits too well. I wonder if this is the right size." When you are determined not to feel contented, then no one can help you. It is a state of your mind which only you can help. Most of us feel a certain comfort zone in talking and feeling discontented because there is always something to talk about. The mind is occupied all the time. To feel contented always is like losing the mind. This is also why, although we claim that we want to feel contented always, we are not ready when it happens. Our mind plays cunningly because it needs something to chew on. We feel secure when we run behind the horizon. The horizon is only an imaginary line, but we feel secure running behind it because there is something to run behind. The mind has been trained to run always. When you are like this, you are actually fooling yourself, that's all. You are creating self-contradictory results for yourself. For example, you want to feel contented at the bottom of your heart, but you keep deluding yourself of contentment by constantly complaining and refusing to see what has been given to you. You want something, but bring upon something else on yourself. And you feel comfortable in trying to achieve contentment as a lifelong process. Understand one thing. The moment you create self-contradictory results for yourself, your misery starts. Try to be clear on how you would like your life to be and direct every ounce of energy towards making it that way. When you function with this clarity, you will never delude yourself and you will see that you soon become what you want to be. When you enter into a space where gratitude becomes your meditation, contentment automatically happens. The normal contentment that we all know always comes with a reason. It is related to something that has happened in the outer world that has temporarily put your busy mind to rest, that's all. When your mind is restful, you say you are contented. Real contentment is not this. Real contentment is when you feel permanent gratitude towards the benevolence of existence. Real contentment asks for nothing more. It simply enjoys everything without a reason. It needs no reason. When you reach this state, you will not know what discontentment is all about. A small story. A man once went to a doctor and complained of insomnia. The doctor asked him, "So you are unable to sleep at all at night, is it?" The man replied, "I sleep well at night, doctor." The doctor then asked, "Then what is the problem?" The man said, "I am unable to sleep in the afternoons and evenings." We are all asking for more and more without any scale of measure. Even if we have a scale, it is infinite. That is the problem. We are completely blinded by our attitude of asking for more. We don't even know where we stand because of this. We haven't looked inwards at all in a long time. We are just deluded by our minds. We are living such an ignorant life. We create suffering for ourselves inside and then go in search of relief outside. You are able to laugh for this joke because you know you are only watching it. You know that you are not a part of it. In life, many times you are in the same situation and you don't know it. At those times, you are not the watcher. You are so involved in the whole thing that it becomes such a serious thing for you. It becomes such a solid reality to you. Try to remember this joke whenever something is bothering you. Immediately try to connect with the joke and see with awareness what is bothering you. Go deep down and see whether you are really having a problem or you are simply allowing your mind to play. You may just laugh at the end of it. A lady was traveling on a long-distance flight. The air hostess came serving food for everyone. She found the lady fast asleep, and so she moved on to the next person. The lady woke up after a while and asked for food. The air hostess brought her the food promptly. The lady touched the food and flared up. "What sort of an airline are you running? The food is not warm. I have paid through my nose to take this flight and I can't even get warm food." The air hostess apologized. "Ma'am, please excuse us. The warmer is not working. The rest of the people also had their food this way only." The lady then said, "Is that so? Then it is all right." See, the food remains cold even now. But the lady is no more unhappy because she knows that everyone else also had the food that way. This is what I mean when I say that everything is a play of the mind. Everything is an adjustment of the mind. The mind keeps switching its stance and playing on you because you have allowed it to take over. You have not centered yourself on contentment, and so you sway according to your mind. So as I was saying, if you're not able to laugh at the end of the day, it means that you are still serious about the whole thing. You still feel that you are shouldering the whole world and that it is because of you that the whole show is running. You see, deep down the truth is, we belong to existence, which is the ultimate and all-pervading energy, and which is controlling the whole show. Our inherent nature is also to find out that connection back with existence, so that we flow without a problem. But somewhere we miss this understanding and we disconnect ourselves from existence, and then we start running behind material things, thinking that this is what we are searching for. If you have visited the zoo at least once in your lifetime, you might have noticed that the longest queues are in front of the cages of the lions and the tigers. Always, you will find people standing for a long time in front of the lions and tigers and admiring them with awe and respect. We do this because without even realizing it, we are strangely reassured by seeing things that are bigger or stronger than us. It gives us the comforting feeling that we are not the ultimate power. We know that we are not the ultimate power. Our being is actually searching for an encounter with any such grandeur that reminds us of our real role in this macrocosmic universe. People go to the temples only for this assurance that they get when they see the idols. Those who don't find this kind of assurance in temples find it elsewhere. But somehow, deep within we know that we are not the ultimate power. This feeling should become an experiential reality for us. Then we will know for sure. If you go to the Himalayas, you will get a permanent and strong reminder of the profundity of existence. From peak to peak, the mountains rise, the mountain becoming the valley and the valley rising into the mountain, with no perceivable beginning or end. And the river Ganges, it just flows continuously in the valley in different moods, in different colors, trails, chattering and laughing in the language of existence. If there is a world not made by man, the Himalayas stand to prove it. The Himalayas prove that humans are not the ultimate things. When you see the Himalayas, you will see how over hundreds of kilometers, ice mountains appear as just ice mountains, and then become mountains and water, and later just water. Such are the wonders of nature at its peak. What books cannot teach you with words, the Himalayas can teach you through just the experience of seeing. Only you need to be ready to receive it. The Himalayas are a live energy body with penetrating silence. You just have to allow it to penetrate you. If you understand that you are but a speck of the splendor of existence, you will accept it with grace and humility, with no questions asked. When you open yourself to existence, it just fills you up. How much you open yourself out, that much it fills you up. You all think that you have to work hard to cling on to God. Not at all. Have you seen the way a young monkey clings to its mother? There is every possibility that it might let go and fall. Whereas with a cat, the mother clings on to its kitten. The kitten then is perfectly safe. You don't have to cling to God. If you just allow yourself and do your duty, leaving the rest, God will cling on to you. Falling for God is not a big deal. Making God fall for you is a big deal. This will happen when you have undaunted faith and live a life of love and service. A beautiful small story. A man was very God-conscious and a loving man, and he did a lot of good deeds in his life. He came to know that there was a particular book with a person that had the names of people who loved God. He was excited to find out if his name was there in the book, and he went to that person and he asked if he could see the book. He searched through all the pages several times, but he could not find his name in it. He was very disappointed and went away. A year later, he came back to see if his name had been added to the book. Again, he could not find it anywhere. As he was turning to leave, the man said, "Sir, please wait. This book has the list of names of people who love God. I have another very small book that has a few names in it. It is the list of names of people whom God loves." He showed the man the book, and the man found his name in it. See, it is very easy to fall for God. After all, He is so loving, so giving, so powerful and whatnot. You can continue to say that you love Him and remain where you are. But when you start feeling God at the being level and the transformation happens in you, God will fall for you. You will find yourself being loved in many ways like you have never known before. Such is the compassionate love of God. We have all along been taught to be wary of nature, to be wary of God, of existence. We have been taught to walk with slippers so that the earth does not hurt us. We have been taught to stay away from rain. We have been taught to stay indoors when it is windy. We have been taught to stay away from animals and what not. I tell you, existence is your only friend on planet Earth. Do you know how wonderful it is to walk with the feel of the earth? I never used to wear slippers in my younger days, except while in college, because their rule demanded that I wore them. I just used to walk barefoot, whether it was at home or in school or during my days of wandering. Even now in the ashram, I walk barefoot most of the time. Of course, the people around me pamper me with my slippers, saying that my feet will get hurt. I ask them how my feet that wandered the length and breadth of India, bare can get hurt now. You just completely disconnect yourself from nature by doing these things. So many people ask me, Swamiji, how is it that your feet are so smooth and flawless even after so many years of wandering in rugged terrain? I tell you now, I have never felt alienated with existence. That is why. That is the real reason. I always felt that I was a part of existence. I always felt that I belonged to nature. That is why I used to wander without a care, without being afraid of anything. Just imagine if you had to be alone in the darkness of the jungle with wild animals, with no food, and no idea where you would get your next meal, and no place to sleep except under the cover of the sky. How would you be? Totally terrified, is it not? This is because you have never been taught that existence is your unfailing friend. You have always looked to people for help because you believed that only people help. You fail to understand that existence helps through people. Your faith has always been on people, never on existence. When you place your faith on existence, you can live like a lord on planet Earth. I enjoyed my days of wandering. I used to simply walk where my feet led me, with no idea of my next destination. I used to get into any train and get off at any station where the scenery attracted me. I did not know the Hindi language at that time, and most of my wandering was in North India, in the Himalayas. I simply picked up Hindi words to find my way about. Actually, to learn any language, the first difficulty is your thought that you don't know the language. You first alienate yourself from the language, and then it seems difficult for you. Here again, you alienate yourself with your all-knowing nature. Anyhow, most often I wandered on my own and not with any group of sadhus. Never ever did I feel that I was alone. I enjoyed being a part of existence. When you learn to relate with nature, you will feel the joy of existence. I never had to beg for food. When I was hungry or even otherwise, food came through someone in some form. This is what I mean when I say just believe and let go, and existence will take care. People ask me, Swamiji, you struggled so much in your life and then you reached your goal. Should we also suffer to reach our goal? I tell them, I struggled because I was using 10,000 keys to try to open one lock. I experimented for years together and then found the right key. Now I have the right key with me. I am ready to give it to whomsoever wants it. It will take you only one moment to open with it. Of course, if you feel that you have to suffer, then that is your freedom. I will not interfere. Your only effort should be to allow existence to flow through you. The lesser resistance you pose to existence, the lesser effort you will have to put yourself. It is directly proportional relationship. When you get enlightened, you are but an empty channel through which existence flows continuously, that's all. When all efforts drop on your part, existence can flow effortlessly through you. Yes, any questions? Swamiji, how does meditation help in feeling contented? You see, when you continuously meditate, you will become soft and vulnerable. You will become porous, sensitive and aware. You will find that your consciousness is expanding every moment. Your consciousness determines your feelings and actions. That is why again and again I ask you to meditate. It will purify your consciousness completely. Things will become clearer to you. You will be able to feel your center shifting from your mind to your heart. When the distance between your mind and you increases, your whole being will start vibrating with a different feeling. And this feeling is what is contentment, a deep fulfillment, a deep love without a reason towards the whole, a continued sense of joy and bliss. As long as you operate from your mind, you will only ask for more. You will analyze, you will divide, and conclude with dissatisfaction more than anything else. But when you operate from your heart, all your analysis will stop, and you will neither dissect the past nor worry about the future. You will be just in the present without any judgmental feeling. And in this state, you feel only contentment and gratitude. A new space has opened up in you. When you have found the space, all the energy that you earlier spent on negative thinking and dissatisfaction is released. You feel blissful and integrated, and you feel filled with the energy. Gratitude then becomes your prayer, and thank you becomes your mantra. The gush of energy that you feel when you are in a state of gratitude towards existence can never be explained in words. It has to be experientially understood. Every single thing that comes your way will give so much contentment, and it will attract more and more from existence, and you will just find yourself being showered. Suddenly, the whole thing will take on a new dimension where more and more bliss can be felt, more and more bliss can be experienced. You will be overwhelmed with every passing moment. Just existing will seem so overwhelming. You will feel like a blessing to yourself and to the whole world. When you ask, you are clearly missing. When you are grateful, you are showered. Just be thankful all the time. That is the master key to the whole thing. Of course, you need to feel grateful from your being, not from the periphery. Only if you feel grateful from the being, things will start happening. When you go to sleep with a feeling of gratitude for having spent one more day with existence. When you wake up with the feeling of gratitude for having one more day with existence. This is the simplest and most effective meditation you can do to make gratitude your very being. I tell you, just by feeling and radiating gratitude from your being, you can change the face of planet Earth. All terrorism, wars, religious fanaticism, ill health, poverty, etc. can be eradicated by just spreading awareness about the gratitude that needs to be brought out from each person. When each one feels and radiates gratitude, there can be no hatred or jealousy. All the possible routes for global negativity can be destroyed with just this one feeling, because the reasons for all negativity will simply dissolve with it. That is the beauty of gratitude. All right. Let us now spend some time doing a beautiful meditation technique called the Sahasrara Dhyana, a meditation of gratitude.